You're now tuned in to the Candidly Crawford radio show here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Teresa.
And it's your boy, Nick.
And we are Candidly Crawford, all about God, marriage, life, and everything in between. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Candidly Crawford radio show. Join us here every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or just head on over to our YouTube channel, the Candidly Crawford YouTube channel, and subscribe, like, share, and catch up on all of the past radio broadcasts. So welcome, guys. We want to welcome you here to the Candidly Crawford radio show. We're excited to have you. And actually, we're going to jump into what our week has been like. There's been some exciting things happening on the horizon. But before we do, tonight's sponsor of the Candidly Crawford radio show is the Mustard Seed Radio Show 704. I actually just jacked that all up. It's Mustard Seed Radio 704 show.
Yes.
By our friend Brown Carmen, hosted every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we love you, girl. Hey, Carmen.
Hey, girl. We love you, sis.
Head on over to her YouTube channel as well. She just did a couple of great interviews. She does a lot of in-person interviews, which you would definitely find interesting. So,
and shout out to Carmen because her birthday just recently passed.
It did. Now, we're a couple of weeks too late, and I'm so sorry, girl. For some reason, I keep thinking your birthday is in October. I just really need to fix that. That's horrible. But happy birthday!
Pew, 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 pew.
And then my sister just celebrated a birthday not so long ago either, on May 15th. So shout out to Bean. We love you, Beanie.
We love you, sis. Pew, 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 pew.
Happy birthday, y'all. It's a lot of great May birthdays going on. Our nephew Bryson had a birthday as well. Man, let me tell you, May is that month, ain't it?
Right. And we just celebrated our 2nd year wedding anniversary.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yes, so.
Yeah, May 20th, the Crawford celebrated 2 years.
And 2 years have been wonderful for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, I can speak for myself on that. It has been amazing. I will say that. They've been great.
Yes, and this year we are celebrating by closing on a house.
Yes! Okay, so if you guys haven't listened to our previous radio show broadcast within the past couple of weeks, Nick and I, we are closing on our house in a few weeks. We are super excited. It's just been a whirlwind, but we are closing on our house. We had a trip planned to Panama to celebrate our wedding anniversary. And let me tell you, God had other plans, okay?
Didn't he have other plans?
We'll take the house over a Panama trip any day.
Yes. And so I think, I'll go ahead and talk about my week.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this week has been good. It's been exciting too because, like Teresa said, we are closing on the house and every day is getting closer for us to sign off on it. And this week we went to the house to do some inspections, right?
Yeah, we met up with the home inspector just so they could give us the report of what they found. And y'all, if any of y'all have been through this process before, let me tell you, you just be praying like, Lord, please don't let nothing, structurally or foundationally be wrong with the house. And Lord,
it's very meticulous, right?
Yes. But
just going over there and we start to envision on how our house is going to look is very exciting. Of course, I've already in my mind already put where I'm gonna put my smokers and my grill at.
Oh Lord, y'all pray for me.
Oh, I'm already putting up security cameras around the house.
Every day, y'all. He is looking up these security cameras. Babe, I was looking at where we could put them at. And I was like, babe, it's every day. And you know what? I actually welcome it because this is a very exciting time. And, we're excited. Yeah.
I'm buying a lawnmower. I already talked to Teresa about getting a gun because my house is going to be safe.
Yes. So all of that is in the works, though.
Yeah, my family's going to be safe. That's going to be a safe place. God's going to reside there, but my 9 is going to reside there, too.
Oh, wow. So as you can see, guys, we got some exciting stuff going on here in the Crawford household, and we thank y'all for y'all support and y'all prayers. Especially shout out to our families, our close friends. Like, they've really been a great support system, keeping us uplifted in prayer. Of course, we continually pray for y'all as well. Even our listeners, we always pray for everyone. But this is just such a joyous and exciting time for us.
Yes.
As we embark on this journey to home ownership, we are just super excited, y'all. So just to segue into tonight's topic, we're going to talk about insecurities. Now, we're not talking about insecurities could be about anything, whether it's about what you don't like about yourself personally, what you may feel insecure about, whether your esteem is low. Like, we're just going to just harp on all of that. But Nick and I are going to share our personal experiences when it comes to how we have dealt with insecurities and things that we still may be a little insecure about when it comes to ourselves. So stay tuned. We're going to kick off a little song for you, and we'll be right back.
We are Candidly Crawford Radio, all about God, marriage, life, and everything in between.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern as we candidly share our thoughts and experiences on life and relationships with a few laughs too. Interested in growing your business by advertising on our radio show? Need a dynamic duo or host to speak at your event? Connect with us. Email us at candidlycrawford@gmail.com or at Candidly Crawford on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And we are back. Thank you for tuning in to the Candidly Crawford radio show here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Teresa.
And it's your boy, Nick.
And we are Candidly Crawford, all about God, marriage, life, and everything in between. So before we went to break, we said that tonight's show is going to be about insecurity. So what are you guys insecure about? And Nick and I, we're going to share just some of our personal insecurities that we may struggle with and that we have struggled with in the past and how we overcame them. I know for me, I did have a podcast prior to the Candidly Crawford podcast, because we do have a podcast as well. We need to get up on that. But I did have a podcast, and it's still actually out there. It's called Feezy Under Grace. It's on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. I did a podcast, and I think I did a blog. I think it was more so a blog post. I don't remember if I did a podcast on this one. I do remember doing something similar, like about insecurities, but it was called Worthy in the Eyes of the King. And basically how we allow society, social media, just all these outside influences to make us feel less than what God has called us to be and what He has designed and created us to be. It can make us feel, you see somebody doing, big things in life. They're like, oh, they just living a life, and I'm just over here, whatever. I don't have a flat stomach, I don't have, this particular shape. I don't have, this amount of money. I don't have the nice whatever. And comparison can definitely steal your joy. It can kill whatever, I would say, esteem that you may have within yourself. A lot of people are very self-conscious about their weight. I know for me, mine started back in my junior year of high school. I used to be like a skinny little thing, but I blossomed up. I was going through some things in life. My parents were divorcing at the time, and a lot of people thought I had a baby. Because they was just like, how did you pack on so much weight so quick? Like, I won't say, but I did gain quite a bit of weight. I will say that. To me, I thought I still looked good. I was still rocking it, though. I ain't even gonna lie.
You probably was.
I know I was.
In Wilmington.
Right. Wilmington, North Carolina, born and raised. But everybody thought I had a child. I was like, no, not pregnant. Didn't have no babies. Just stressed. Just trying to navigate this whole new course of life. With what was going on with my parents, family dynamics were changing. So it was just, I packed on the weight. I turned, to food and started eating a little bit. I started I was just out here living, but just turning to other things to cope with my emotions. And thank God, my dad, he did put me in therapy. That definitely helped. And even when I went off to college, I stayed in therapy. So I thank God for that. That definitely helped as well. I embraced my thick shape.
Come on.
Because, I went on to do some plus size modeling in Atlanta as well. And some here in Charlotte. I did the Charlotte Fashion Week.
Okay.
A couple of times. Yeah, I did quite a bit. Brown Carmen, she was there too. She could witness some of those things happening in the modeling world.
So Theezy with the thickness was out here in Charlotte.
Yeah, when I moved to Charlotte, I was still thick. I ain't gonna lie. I was thick all in, in college too. So, but at the same time, I can't lie. Like sometimes some people will make little, sly remarks or whatever. But I could say that I was always confident. Because I know what God had instilled in me, and for me, it wasn't about me per se. It was about, hey, I can still be this size, I can still dress cute. I'm confident. You got a problem with my weight, that's you. You got a problem with it, not me. Now, did I want to get healthier? Yes, of course. I wouldn't say I was out here wilding when I'm about to have a heart attack and all that good stuff. I stayed on top of my health with my doctor and stuff like that. I've had a trainer. I did all of that. But, life be lifing.
Yeah, right.
And sometimes, it just falls off of the radar. So I will say that, at least I did maintain all of my doctor's appointments. It wasn't nothing that I was like in a danger zone or anything like that. However, society can make you feel like you're, beneath whatever the elite may be, or the desired size of what someone should look like, or how you should wear your hair, or whatever. And then for me, my left eye, a lot of people call it lazy eye, is the correct term for my type of condition, where my left eye sometimes it misaligns. It likes to turn outward like Terry off for BMF. Mine is not that bad all the time, but it happens on occasion. My mom was just like, well, I'm sorry you got that from my side of the family. But that's one thing that's always bothered me, because kids would tease me about it in school, and that was one thing I've always felt insecure about, and I actually still do to this day. Sometimes I don't like staring people in the face, because I think that, hey, my eye's just going to start doing its own thing. It's going to go the other way.
Who we need to go fight?
I don't know, but
I was teasing my baby back in 6th grade. We gotta go find them. We gotta go find them.
But even if they weren't, even if they're not teasing me now, somebody's saying something behind my back. But at the same time, it's just like, you know what? Me and my eye, we doing good with the Lord, okay?
Ain't we? Your eye's sexy. Oh. So, side note.
Thank you, babe. Now you're not just saying that because you're my husband. Oh, okay.
But so let's go back to the weight thing, because you said you was confident in your weight.
I wasn't always confident, because sometimes I was always, I was always the big girl out the pack. You get what I'm saying? It was just always like the big girl out the pack, like, oh, here comes,
Yeah. So
you don't gotta treat me. I'm not handicapped. I got a little extra weight, but I'm not handicapped. But anyway, what about you, babe? I done talked. I done talked enough.
So we gonna stick on this weight thing, because that was one of my issues as a kid, and it didn't happen until teenage years when I blew up. And you go from being skinny to husky, and
not husky.
Yes, I was husky.
Oh wow.
And then I continued to gain weight, and in high school, that's where I started to be insecure about who I was. And that's where I started hiding myself behind different things. Like, oh, I'm big, but I got jokes for you. But it still hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was able to mask that hurt with my jokes. I was funny. I was always the funny guy. And even when I started liking girls, they didn't like me because I was big. They liked me because I was friendly and I was the friend. So
you was always friend zone, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Don't y'all out of, well, never mind. Yeah, friends on my baby. I'm just saying, back in the day. let's.
And so, like, I didn't become confident until 20s, because I lost weight in like 25, 26, and I started to become thinner, and my confidence grew, and I understood that my insecurity lied within my weight. I've had a lady tell me that we would have dated if I wasn't so big.
Oh wow. Now see, that's the opposite for me, because I can speak for my sister too. We've always dated kind of bigger men. I like my man with meat. That's just me. I've dated somebody, he wasn't a bag of bones, but he was, I would say he was the smallest person I've dated. Now I ain't saying I want you big where you need an oxygen tank. That's not what I'm saying. However, I mean, that's just my preference. You know, some people be like, hey, he has to have the 6-pack abs. No, I like my man to have some meat, because when I'm cold at night, I need somebody to stick my feet under, and my cold self, yes, like I want all of that.
And so, like, you know,
a big teddy bear. I
was teased in high school. Everybody said I look like Biggie Smalls, and I wish I had the confidence of Biggie, because he said he was black and dark and ugly as ever. However, he stayed Gucci down to the socks, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have Gucci. I had Nikes.
I thought it was Coogee.
Coogee. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was just...
Yeah, you was just correcting me. However, I had Hanes socks on.
Oh, wow.
Nike shoes. And some Wranglers.
Not Hanes.
Hanes.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have that confidence that he had. And, you know, it followed me. And even though now I feel different about myself, sometimes those insecurities still come. Especially like if we're flying somewhere. And it's crazy because I know I don't need no seatbelt extender. But it's a what if back there. In the back of my mind, be like, what if this seatbelt don't work and I gotta ask the flight attendant for a seatbelt extender?
Okay, so let me just kind of insert myself here. So when I used to have to travel for work basically almost every week for like 7 years straight. I loved it. I traveled all around the country at the time, and on some of the very smaller regional planes, I already knew what the seatbelt was. And it was just, I got hips, okay, for one. Hips and booty. Hey, that's just me. That's how I'm shaped. Actually, I love it. My husband do too. But anyway.
Dips and hips.
But no, like, what I would do before I sat to my seat when I'm on, you know, when you speaking to the flight attendant, I'd be like, hey, can I have a seatbelt extender? And they'll just go ahead and hand it to me. Or, hey, and at one instance, I just kept one. So now I have one just as a backup.
Yeah.
And I just kept it.
And so those were things like, you know, my insecurities stopped me from riding rides at amusement parks, because I would get on rides, and if the belt doesn't come down or the harness doesn't come down and click into its normal spot, then I would have to get off.
Yeah, that's happened to me when I was going on what's that roller coaster at Carowinds?
Don't know, because I ain't been to Carowinds in 15 years.
Well, it's one of those NASCAR.
Days of Thunder?
It wasn't Days of Thunder, no.
Oh.
It was one of the new ones.
Oh, okay.
The Intimidator.
Oh.
So me and my sister, we, you know, had our little season pass. I get on the roller coaster. And so the guy was like, he was coming to check, and he was like, hey, can you sit back? And I was like, I'm sitting all the way back. He was like, no, can you, like, it was a gap. That's my booty, okay? I couldn't help that. And so he was like, no, ma'am, can you sit back? And my sister was like, she is sitting all the way back. That's her butt back there. Like, that's her booty.
Shout out to my sister for protecting her sister.
And so he was just like, well, I said, you know what, if this not gonna come all the way down, I was like, I'm not about to ride this, because we're going upside down, all this, like, I'm good. So I hopped off, and I was just like, hey, I said, sorry y'all, my booty too big. And everybody started laughing. But I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly hurt, because it was just like, darn, you know, like, you ain't had to call me out like that. He was just like, I mean, can you sit? I was like, well, you don't got to be so loud.
And so that, I mean, I haven't been to Carowinds, like I said, over 15 years, maybe 20 years. And that was an insecurity that I dealt with, you know, and even like approaching women, like, I'm smaller than I've been in a while.
Yeah, you are getting a little slim, a little too slim, but
when I approached Teresa, there was an insecure moment, like, hey, maybe she might not like me, because we met on Twitter, and so you only saw pictures.
Right.
And so, you know, at that time, I was losing weight. Then I was exercising and losing weight. And so I was like,
oh, I knew it. I ain't had no doubt, because I already knew you looked like your picture. So I was like, he my type.
Yeah, but I was, you know, there was a small piece in my mind was like, okay, maybe she might not like it. And, you know, so.
And I loved it.
Look at God. But, you know, that's been my insecure battle throughout life. Now I don't, my insecurities they have transferred to other places, right?
Yeah.
Because once we, achieve this goal and we fight that battle and we've won it, it goes to another place. Now, I can say this, and I don't have no problem saying this. Like, my insecurity lies within me preaching, because I don't preach like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a teacher.
But if God called you to be who you are, and time again, people always say how great you are when you do get a chance to preach. And I love it too. Like, you're not built to hoop and holler and all that, even though I know you be doing it around the house every day, all day. However, if God didn't call you to do that specifically, he called you to minister in such a way to where people who normally probably wouldn't get it or pay attention, they do.
Yeah, and so I'm becoming more secure in that. There's a part of me that would love to do that.
It ain't in you. You do it at the house, so that's enough.
Yeah, and so I'm doing well. I'm conquering my fears and my insecurity in that lessons every day. Every time that somebody says that they've received a word, or every time that the Lord validates what I say, it chops at my insecurity. So for that, I'm grateful.
That's good. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I know for me, excuse me, I wasn't always as outspoken as I am, or the bubbly type of personality. I would say for me, I was always kind of shy for a very long time. And it wasn't until I moved to Charlotte over 20 something years ago, I had no choice but to come outside of my bubble. And I had to learn, like, I put myself in Toastmasters. I learned how to speak in front of people. And then, when it came to my job, I became one of the most requested IT trainers, around the country. So it was just like how God can take something that you're insecure about, because I'm like, I don't like talking in front of people, this, that. And now look at me now. I'm a project manager leading all types of projects. And I thank God for shaping me to be where I am and removing that insecurity, because I felt like, I probably don't speak a certain way, or I don't sound a certain way, or I sound too black, It's just, I sound too ethnic, so should I say. So I thank God for crafting me to be exactly who I am, to be in this moment, even hosting this radio show and this podcast, even my previous podcast, I've had insecurities.
Yes.
But I thank God that I have you, of course.
I got you too.
But God, validates us as we continue to do his work, because it's not about us, it's about him.
Right.
And every time someone says that, hey, I'm glad, I found your page, I listened to your, whatever, and that helped me. That's all we're doing this for. It ain't for us. It ain't for us to climb some type of invisible corporate or success ladder. The success is God getting the glory. So remember that with any insecurity you have, just remember who God created you to be. Remember that there's no one like you. He thought so much of you that he created only one of you. He didn't create you to compare yourself to others. He didn't create you to act or be like somebody else. He created you to be you. So embrace that and ask God to help you and strengthen you and continue to shape you into who he has created you to be. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with the Candid Tip of the Week. Wish we could talk longer on this, but we have to shorten it a little bit. We might do a part 2. Who knows? We always say that, but we'll see where this goes. All right, guys, stay tuned.
We are Candidly Crawford Radio. All about God, marriage, life, and everything in between.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern as we candidly share our thoughts and experiences on life and relationships with a few laughs too. Interested in growing your business by advertising on our radio show? Need a dynamic duo or host to speak at your event? Connect with us. Email us at candidlycrawford@gmail.com or at Candidly Crawford on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. We are back. Thank you for tuning in to the Candidly Crawford radio show here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Teresa.
And it's your boy, Nick.
And we are Candidly Crawford, all about God, marriage, life, and everything in between. So we just actually shared our personal stories. I think I shared a little bit more than Nick did, but just our personal stories on insecurities. And I know for me, one way that I overcame them is just digging into reading scriptures unto my hearing to constantly remind me of who God created me to be, that there is not another me in this world. There could be somebody that look like me, but there's not. It's only one Teresa, there's only one Nick, and you guys, it's only one you. So be confident, be confident in your skin, love the skin you're in, love the clothes you're in, love the hair you're in. You know, I'm all about, if you want to just do stuff for yourself, and that's just the bottom line. Just remember who God created you to be. So we're going to share with you the candid tip of the week. I'm going to share with you one scripture that definitely resonates. It comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 29 through 31. I am reading from the New Living Translation version. It is, "What is the price of 2 sparrows? 1 copper coin? But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows." So basically just saying, like, hey, the price of 2 sparrows is basically 1 copper coin, but not one single sparrow, regardless of how much they cost, can fall to the ground without our Heavenly Father knowing it. He knows all. He sees all. And the fact that He knows the number of hairs on our head, like how intricate is that? Because He created us and loves us just that much, to where He crafted us and He knows every detail about us, to the point of, you know, this scripture outlines it to say, basically, if He does that for sparrows, don't you know you're worth more than a flock of sparrows? Like, you're very valuable to God. Regardless of what you're feeling insecure about, think about your value to God and how you can bring Him glory throughout the life that you live. Is not just your outward appearance or how you're feeling inside, but just think about it. It's all about Him in the end. The second one, it comes from Psalm chapter 139, verse 14. I'm reading from the NIV version, where it says, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." Basically, the psalmist was saying that, God, I praise you just because you made me wonderful.
Yeah, and fearfully in this sense, because I just looked it up, fearfully means that He took His time, like He took pleasure, and He distinguished you out of everybody else. That one of one comes back to you, like He only made one of you, and He was like, you know, I reverence you that much that I made you this wonderful.
Exactly. Thank you for that, baby. That's good. Thank you.
No problem.
So guys, I would say just read those 2 scriptures into your hearing. Matthew chapter 10, verses 29 through 31, Psalm chapter 139, verse 14. Whatever you may be feeling insecure about, whether it's finances, whether it's education, whether it's your job, whether it's what success looks like to you, or just get the comparison out of your head. Just focus on being the best you, the best version of you that you can ever be, and ask God to continue to strengthen you so you can carry out His purpose for you. That way, hey, nobody can ever compare to you. Really, they could do things like you, but they can't compare to you. That's only one of you. We love you guys. We pray that this helped in some type of way. Wish we had a longer show.
Right. But if you have any questions or anything, reach out to us. We're on social media everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all Candidly Crawford. You'll find us there. Reach out if you need prayer. We'll pray for you, with you, everything. We love you, family.
We love you guys. Good night.
Good night. We are blessed to be a blessing.
Yes, that's our mantra. I'm sorry. We are blessed to be a blessing. Good night, guys.
You can buy a hair